Hi, my name is
Hi.
Sophia. I'm a finalist of Ukraine Global Scholars 2019, and today we're talking with Olha Vasyliv, who's a finalist of Ukraine Global Scholars 2018, and she's studying at Connecticut College, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Connecticut College is a small liberal arts school located in a beautiful town called New London in Connecticut. So, is this your second year of study?
Yes, I am a sophomore.
Right. Okay. So today I'd like to learn more about your experience at Connecticut. And I think we'll start with your fit to the college and maybe what makes you a good fit to this college and what's not a fit for you in this college.
I think I developed the understanding of a good college fit once I got in here and spent some time, probably my first or second semester. At this point, I think that fit means a lot to your success in college. And personally, I prefer to consider myself making a very great way here at Con. How do I fit in this school is mainly based on the size and location, but not in terms of the little town that I live in, but in terms of political views around here, New England vibes and all of that. I feel like it contributed to my self-development a lot and growth as a student because I studied major in sociology and issues like racism, sexism, ageism, and all of these, as well as environmental concerns that I'm looking more deeply into in my research area. I think that those contribute pretty well to my, and they correlate with my personal interests. So that's why I feel like location in New England is very meaningful to me. On top of that, I went to a pretty small school in Kiev, and this is like a small environment in a big city. So I
Yeah.
felt very valued, and I felt like I had a lot of attention coming from my teachers at school. Here, it's the same thing, same story, very big, grand scheme country with like so many mega policies and all of that. And I am in a small school where I know I'm valued, I am like mentioned, I'm present, people know about my existence, I know people too. It's just wonderful to have this small environment where you can be yourself and be noticed and be like appreciated. And also, I feel like programs that I'm currently in, I major in sociology and double minor in French and environmental studies. Those departments are very developed in Con, and I really value the idea that we have so many professors doing their research in environmental sociology, in urban studies, in social justice, and all of that, on top of cultural experiences such as Goodwin Hearing Center. We also have Pika Center, and I am a part of the certificate program CISLA on campus that helps to internationalize majors based on language you study. And my second language here at Con is French. So I very much
Great.
appreciate the fact that I have a chance, to develop all of my interests in just one small place, but still be a part of a greater society in the US.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for such a great introduction. I have another question about maybe your first experience of the college when, I don't know, you step off the bus. What was your first experience as you saw the campus?
That is a very funny story. My flight was a little delayed, so I came on campus and first stepped on the camel ground. Camel is our mascot at 1 a.m. It was very late
Whoa.
and it was also a very foggy August night. And because it's literally by the ocean, it was very, very foggy and I couldn't see any buildings. So I felt quite sketchy at that point. But then I went to my dorm, first saw it. My friend, who was my advisor, student advisor, she was meant to go grab my key to her dorm. So she left me standing in front of my dorm. It was very foggy. I couldn't see anyone, couldn't see anything. And like literally no one to call, no internet connection, no data, just nothing. And I was so scared. And I was standing there for like 5 minutes. And the first thing I see crawling from the bush is a skunk in the middle
Oh
of the
my
night.
God.
I was so scared and so terrified. And I was like, oh my God, where did I come? What is this place? Where am I? But then my friend came. She gave me the key. I went to my dorm, got in my room. It was very cool. Then I connected to Wi Fi, checked the email, checked messages from my parents, said I'm all safe, I'm all good. So it was a very, bothering and emotionally draining experience. And I first experienced jet lag at that point, although I did fly before that. And when I woke up in the morning, I found my shower, found the bathroom, did all this stuff, went to the dining hall, came back, had breakfast and all of that. I felt like, okay, I can deal with that. At least I know where the food is and where I can go to bathroom, and like two key things all resolved at the very first like few hours on campus. So I'm good. And then classes started, emails started, people started reaching out. And then, that all accelerated at some point and kept like brought me to the place where I am right now, right? Like knowing all of everything about jobs, certificate programs, centers,
Right.
people around me. And like it's wonderful how it took me like over the scope of the year, I figured out so many things that changed my life drastically. But that first night, it was terrible.
So that was your first night, was your first challenge, right? But it sounds like you got to the part of this life and college life, and interestingly, part of American college life as a Ukrainian student. So was it challenging for you to find people who think alike? Did you feel differences between cultures or something like that?
So I felt quite weird when my roommates started moving in because their parents helped them to like, move all the boxes, put
Yeah, right.
everything like in wardrobes and all of that, make their beds, like make cute fancy places. And I arrived here all by myself. I don't have that help. So I felt quite left out a little bit for a little moment because, it's very emotional, and people who come with their children first day at college, they try to help, they try to like spend those last few hours together before they leave. So I felt a little bit left out, but I was very lucky because my roommate's parents took me out for dinner. We spent a lot of time together. Like I really felt like I was a part of family. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of difference between what they were doing as opposed to what I would do with my parents if I moved in college and they were here for me. So I didn't feel that culture shock. What I felt was disconnection to moral principles sometimes because I didn't know much about racism, about societal structures in America, and that's what I currently study as a part of academia. And as a my personal side of it, like not a sociological part of me, but what I really feel about it, was very shocked because I did not do a good research before coming here, and that's what I would recommend to anyone who applies to schools abroad. Do your best to explore the country and any part of society that you can before coming there, because it will make you feel like you are not a part of it. But once you are there and once you understand it, you know how to navigate your life, you know what kind of people are your people. And luckily, my roommates were very open for discussion to guide me through that process of learning about American society. So I did learn a lot based on our conversations, and they were very open to help me. And I really, really appreciate their help. And I think that it's my roommates from last year who made me understand where I am. And they're just like my soulmates and best friends up until today. And we plan to see each other in different, like in our houses. We plan to host each other. I hope they will visit me, I will visit them. Also, my roommates live in very prime locations. One of my roommates is from Chicago and the other is from Hawaii, and if you want to see
Wow.
her, she is.
Oh, hi.
We have so much in common right now, and I feel like they guided me through this transition period to American life that I really, really appreciate.
Sounds great. Really, such a positive start of an interview, at least. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about academics. I think we'll get to the community a little bit later. I'd like to learn more about whether it was challenging for you to register for the courses. Did you get the courses you wanted always or not always? You might talk about your major, for example. How long did it took you to decide, for example?
Yeah, of course. So before coming to Con, I was really interested in media and communication. But Connecticut doesn't necessarily have a very big communication department. To be more specific, we don't have it at all. We don't have any journalism classes or something like that. All we have is sociology, international relations, government, anthropology.
Would you
Oh,
say those are the, I don't know, the departments that your college specializes in?
yeah, we're very much focused on humanities, but as a small liberal arts institution, you can imagine those are very intertwined. And
Yeah.
what happens is we also have many like strong STEM departments. Like neurosciences are very popular. Professors are very cool, as well as chemistry department, I think, and biology. Yeah, environmental studies department is not as big, but it does give very good understanding of where you want to be, and it's, I would say, is more focused on social sciences and environmental spectrum. But speaking of what I did in terms of classes my first year, I was thinking that I would do something related to government and international relations. For some reason, I thought that would be a good fit for me. So I registered for French, which is one of my interests, just like basic course, intermediate level, just to keep up with grammar. I registered for my an environmental study, for introduction to environmental studies as a social science, and I registered for my FYS, Energy for the Modern World. They are assigned to us, so I couldn't choose it, but like I think that was a good fit for me too. And my fourth class, as I thought it would be a good choice, I registered for international relations, international politics, correct. So I registered for international politics, and I come to my first class and I listened to this wonderful professor, and he is very great, but things he was talking about did not spike any kind of interest in my head. So I was like, okay, cool. Come back to my room, dropped class. Hello, Edgar. What do I do next? Is I do not know what to do further. I did not know what to, like, how to proceed from that because I dropped a class that I thought I would love. So I have to take something that would fit in my schedule and that has empty seats. Like, I looked at the schedule, what is available, and the only thing I could do was Introduction to Sociology at 7 p.m. Mind you, twice a week, 7 to 8:30 p.m., I had sociology class that I did not know anything about. So what I decided to do is like register for it because that's the only thing I could do at this point. And that was the time when I decided that I'm going to major in sociology. I started this intro course, fell in love with professor, and ever since then I started taking more and more sociology classes, and right now I decided I already declared my major in sociology and double minor in French and environmental studies. Environmental studies was rather a passion for me than something I was interested in like doing as a profession, like as a career, and it still keeps influencing my career choices. So I'm more into sustainability now. I am more into social justice in terms of environmental impact. And I keep taking classes in natural sciences. Currently, I'm taking hydrology. Last year, sorry, I took environmental biology. But on top of that, I take a lot of culturally focused French classes, not grammar now, but like more aspects of sociological aspects that I would love to dive into. And I plan to do study away in France for 1 semester next year. Hopefully, it happens because of COVID. All of those little things, they made a very good picture in my head, I think, and they really helped me to move toward the career that I have in my head again. But it took me a long time to discover what I like, and it was quite stressful to drop a class your freshman fall, but I figured it.
Yeah, that's very interesting that, well, basically, it was just a surprise for you too to take sociology, you know. Now it's your career path. That's cool.
Exactly. And I did not know what was sociology even before coming here. Like I heard about sociological surveys and all of that on TV,
Yeah.
but what do they really do? What do they study? And I think that right after my first intro class, I realized that it's something I would love to do further. I would love to learn people. I would love to learn psychology of masses. That's how I prefer to describe sociology. And that's what I want to keep doing.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so about the classes, you said you took 4 classes at your first semester, right? Is it the majority of students at college at Connecticut take approximately 4 classes?
Yeah, so you're required to take at least 12 credits, and each class is 4 credits. So technically, you are only required to take at least 3, but to graduate on time, you have to take 4 or above. And I
Okay.
am taking 4 classes every semester, but this semester I took one more class, but it's only 1 credit. So it took me a very short period of time to complete it. And I already did that during my winter break. So yeah, I usually take 4 classes.
Cool, thanks. Then moving on to community and maybe traditions. What is the one tradition or, I don't know, some specific class that is not offered in other colleges that you loved at Connecticut?
I think we're pretty much very similar to all the other colleges in the NASCAC League, like Colby, Trinity, Bowdoin, and all of those. I think Tufts is a little bit bigger, and because it's like a city college, it's something. Yeah, it has different vibe. But at Con, I just love culture around community. We are very tight knit. We're very focused on student engagement, and I work as a residential assistant, and I personally work toward creating like engaging events. And I see that theme going on, that people really want to be together. People really want to work together toward accomplishing some goals, like anti-racism action. We're doing a great job in developing programming, although it might not be as successful and as effective as I want it to be. It's still being developed. And I very much like the fact that we center ourselves around one problem, we work together toward it, and then like we make it. That's how we dealt with COVID last semester. It was a completely new thing for us. And as a small college, it was quite difficult to like limit all of those things that would help to spread COVID. But we did a great job, I think. We only had, I think, about 60 cases last semester on campus, and this semester we are starting very, very well. We're already 3 weeks into semester, but we are already at the green level alert, which means that we are safe and we can go everywhere and do whatever we prefer to. Obviously, there are some things such as masks and regular testing. I did my COVID test in the morning, but like we still do great job cooperating together to solve those issues. And that's not only concerning like COVID, but also, as I said, student engagement. We do really, really great job just interacting with each other. And this communication, this network that we develop over years is a wonderful thing that we managed to put in certificate centers, in programs, in different offices, such as career department. There's so many student-based positions on campus that make it feel like we're all together, and professors are very much involved in student life, which I really, really appreciate about Con.
Is there a program maybe that is particular about your college? You're saying like they're taking part in different programs and community engagements, things like that.
So there is a very famous thing coming up recently. It became very popular trend for kids to apply to Con mainly because of this. So what we have developed is a connections curriculum, is about how students engage in not only academics or extracurriculars and sports, but bring that all together, bring liberal arts education to one space and center yourself in, not focus on just one area, but get education and make your experience as broad as you can at this point. So by taking sociology classes along with hydrology classes, which are heavily STEM classes, I understand how important it is and how one contributes to another. So that's speaking of academics. On top of that, we do certificate programs and pathways. These you can apply for your sophomore year, which I did last semester and got in CISLA, which is a Center for Internationalizing Majors. So as a part of this program, I will go to study away for 1 or 2 semesters as I decide to the country of my interest. This country will be most definitely France for me, because I learn French. On top of that, we are required to do an internship in that country. I was thinking about doing Belgium actually, but we'll see. That's going to change a little bit once I'm into that. And also, we will be writing a research. I have already my research proposal done and like an idea of the topic I want to discover. And we, based on this semester abroad, based on an internship in a company that we want to dedicate our life to, we will write a research on a specific issue that we are interested in. There are ranges of these. For example, people want to study medicine in Australia. I want to learn about climate change representation in media in France. And
Wow.
there are people who want to study educational connections between Japan and Russia. And there are so many things people want to discover in this center, and I very much love this diversity in academic interests, but also how your personal interest contributes to what you do in academia.
Yeah, sure. That's amazing that you can choose and you can try things you're interested about and even come abroad to do research in that particular area. All right. Do you take part in any clubs?
Honestly, not really, just because I do a lot of jobs on campus. I
How
am
many
a
jobs you
global
have?
two so far.
Yeah.
So I work in Global Learning Lab, which is a lab for learning, as you can tell,
Yeah.
learning global societies, cultures, and languages. I am a tutor for French language, and every week on Wednesday, I lead French lunch, which is technically a place where we come together, grab our lunch, and eat together and speak French. We have
Oh,
attending professors, faculty, student advisors, student leaders, tutors, and just regular students who just are doing their studies in French language, French department. On top of that, I teach Ukrainian language as a student independent language studies leader. I teach Ukrainian, and we're currently opening our section to 4 students this semester. So there are 4 students who speak Russian and are interested in learning Ukrainian on top of that, which I'm very excited for.
yay.
And I've been doing that for 3 semesters already, and this is just wonderful how such a small campus has people who are interested in my culture, and I'm very much dedicated to this job and I
Yeah,
very
I'm
much
so
love
glad to
sharing.
hear that. I don't know, this is so amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially knowing that you're somewhere like across the ocean and there are still people in such a, again, small place that have never probably heard about Ukraine before the Trump's impeachment. And they really, really want to do that. This is wonderful. And we have so many resources to provide people with such learning. They hired me, they can buy us books to keep up with Ukrainian grammar and all of that. We watch videos, we have streaming platforms that help us to learn and discover culture. And also, I work as a residential assistant on campus. So it means that I am responsible for my floor, for all the COVID rules being enforced on my floor. I'm also a part of staff who is responsible for programming. So I organized events. The last event we had is finishing today. It's a carbon footprint event that I organized about how people can calculate their carbon footprint, and then for whatever, they have their own lifestyles, and based on that, they calculate their carbon footprint. And whatever number they get, it's very important to understand how much is coming from which part. And I'm trying to be helpful with that, not only in terms of education, but also we, for as a reward for doing a lot of work discovering your carbon footprint, we give out to people things like bamboo toothbrushes or mesh produce bags. And all of these are
Nice.
just wonderful things, to have in your life and to keep thinking about sustainability. And that's the part of job that I'm doing on top of some administrative things, but these are not very interesting, trust me.
All right, but you said a lot about doing research and facilities you have on campus and in the town to do research, dive deep into the area you're interested in. So, how would you say Connecticut could support your passions in maybe right now and in the future with the career you're thinking about?
As a part of the Connections program that I was talking to you about earlier, we have to take a career development class, in order to understand our prospects, what we can do, how to write resume, cover letter, and all of that, to help us be as successful as possible in the sphere we choose for ourselves. And by taking this course, we unlock funding so that we can apply for this funding while doing an internship. So career office not only could help us to find an internship, but also if it's unpaid or if you need some resources to become more successful in applying for this internship or while doing your internship itself, we can get up to $500 of funding for doing that, which is amazing. Con really supports your career growth during your college life. And this is very valuable and very important because I think people of our age are mainly relying on senior year to do their career research and apply for jobs then. While I prefer to think that doing internships during your freshman and sophomore year is critical for growth and critical for understanding of your grand scheme career. What do you want to do in your life? And obviously, you never know what's going to end up happening to you and where you're going to live, what you're going to do, because there are things like family, marriage, religion, I don't know, disasters that might happen to you and might alter your plans. But it's still quite important to build this plan at the very beginning. And I love the fact that Colin really helps me to contribute to my career growth at this point of my life when I'm still 19 and not, like 25, not knowing what to do with life.
Yeah, so that would be your tip to take research projects your first, second years of study, right?
Yeah, so the fact that I have not talked to career office last year is really bothering right now because I wish I talked to them more. I wish I attended more sessions, but I applied to CISLA to my certificate program with which I'm going to do my research. I applied there knowing that I have something in my mind, but not necessarily something concrete that like I'm sure I want to do it. And career class really helped me to figure out what profession can I have in order to boost my interest and like how my interests can shape my career. And only after that I realized what I want to do with my research with CISLA, and that's what I'm going to do my senior year in 2 years. But that's really, really great that I have some sort of ideas right now, and I really appreciate Con helping me to develop those ideas right now, but not later on when it's time to
Oh, yeah,
submit my work.
yeah, that's amazing. But as a Ukrainian student who applied from a Ukrainian school, was it hard for you to adjust to an American curriculum? I don't know, to write all those research papers and in English. Was it hard? What was the most challenging for you in academics?
I went to a private school in Kiev, and it was a best benefit that I had before coming here, honestly. I know that I'm quite privileged to say things like that, but American college is not hard. It's not something that's going to break you. Absolutely not, as long as you approach it very seriously from the very beginning. Yes, freshman year serves as a year for your discovery and, like, trying so many things, but still, you have to be quite responsible before coming here itself. I did a very bad job researching the country at the very first place. I did not know that America is so harsh. I did not that it's so tough to live here. I did not know that it's not as socially guided as Ukraine is. The only thing in academics that was like really difficult for me is history of America because I did not really dive into that before coming here. Other than that, I would say cultural references are pretty similar because America has huge influence on culture we consume, like movies, music, all of that is available in Ukraine. So there was no like culture shock for me in terms of transport, big
Oh,
buildings and
yeah.
all of that. Kiev is like that. There is nothing, difficult in understanding all of these grand things and, like urban life. What is important to understand before coming here is that people will focus on America. My sociology classes are heavily focused on American societies. So when we talk about, I'm currently in sociology of families. When we talk about Victorian families and how colonialism shaped families, I try to come back to my own bubble and like think, hey, how did colonialism shape Ukrainian families? There was no way it could shape it because Ukraine was not a part of the global colonialism period. So like, why would it? So right, technically I'm taking this class for nothing because it means nothing to me because it's not applicable to country where I live. But what it does make me interested in is what are the things in Ukrainian history that impacted the way we see family right now? And this is just a simple example. There are so many things that I think don't understand fully because I'm not American and I don't know these things from like everyday life,
Oh, yeah.
but I try to apply them to what I can relate to, right? Which is Ukrainian society.
Yeah, I think though they're amazing advices and we can all learn from them. Me in particular, to be honest. Were you homesick at any point?
I definitely was. So the night I told you about when I came, it was foggy and I saw a skunk outside of my dorm. I came to my room and I did not have a pillow. I did not have anything for my like bed stuff. So I went to bed on my hoodie and
Oh,
I covered myself with a t-shirt or something like that, and Honestly, I did not feel great at that point of my life, and I was very homesick, and I was checking prices of flights back home at that night. But then it took me, a few days to understand that, like, hey, it's okay. I just need time. Of course, I don't have any space that I can call home right now in this country, but I will be able to do that a little later. And yes, I am. I am currently doing that because anytime I'm away in New York or Boston, I say, "Oh, I need to come back home." And they're like, "Wait, are you going to fly back home, like to Ukraine right now?" I'm like, "No, no, no, just like on campus." I feel like, yeah, it took me a little while to develop the concept of home here, but I did. And it just takes some time and a little bit of effort. Currently, I'm not homesick at all. I wouldn't say that I don't miss Ukraine. I do miss Ukraine a lot. It's just the fact that I know that there is nothing for me to do there because I don't go to college there. I don't have a job there. My life is currently centered here, but I am definitely building plans on coming back and living my life there. And I have like again, career vision, and career office really helped me to shape this vision, as well as UGS, to see myself back at home working there, because honestly I cannot relate to this country a lot, and like I can't, as I said, it's not as socially guided as I thought it would be, and I think that Ukraine does better job based on communist past, like trying to help
Oh,
people, and like social structures are so much better developed back at home that I would rather live there than here.
all right. But beyond studying American history and bringing pillows on campus, what are some other things you wish you knew before coming on campus and to Connecticut College as a college?
Honestly, I think I did a great job adjusting. I am that kind of mobile person that can adjust to any kind of environment. There was not a big difference in terms of curriculum, except for papers. We don't have papers in Ukraine. We don't really write, we don't really do grand projects like group projects at school. It is like a big part of work here. But I think it's just so interesting, and the experience is so new to you when you come here that you learn your way to make it yourself. So, what I wish I knew before coming here, which was a helpful tool, are office hours and how helpful they are. I don't think we have such concept as office hours back at home, and here in small colleges especially, office hours are very personalized. Professors really help you. They really spend a lot of time digging into you, into your personality, and try to help you figure out what you want to do with your life, or with their course at the very least. So
Are you able to build strong connection with those professors?
yes, very much. My major advisor is a person whom I talked to. She was the first professor I went to, whose office hours I went. She is a wonderful person. I feel very strong connection. She knows that I have a small brother. She knows who my parents' job is, what I do as a part, of my everyday life, where I live on campus, what do I work for, what is my job, what are my interests, if I dyed my hair, if I lost weight or something like that, if I cut my bangs or whatever it is. They are a big part of my life, and I definitely recommend people understanding that coming on campus, there are so many resources for you to help to adjust. There are therapies, there are student engagement offices, career office, academic resource center, tutoring, office hours, advising appointments. Just reach out for help. Don't hesitate to acknowledge the fact that you need help. This is completely fine, especially being an international student on top of being a freshman.
Of course. Thank you. Can you tell me something? You may choose a story that you'd say was the most memorable moment of your college experience so far.
That's interesting. I think I should not tell any kind of stories because that will like make a lot of mess in my speech. But what I think I should mention is I was very lucky to have like right people around me. My roommates are wonderful people. We lived in triple together. We had so many friends coming to our room. We had wonderful movie nights together. We ordered food. We spent a lot of time in the library together. And it's just like finding those soulmates your freshman year and sticking to them all of that time. is very critical for your development as a person, because if you support, if there is a conflict in your class that you had with someone while discussing some especially sociological issues, you come to your friends and you need to replenish yourself with that energy, knowing that you're correct, that you're supported, that you're appreciated and valued, that they share your opinion and they are always there for you. That happened somehow this year to me because I'm taking a lot of classes with my friends. And what happens is they always back me up after class and they say, hey, I love this point you said in class. I would love it if we discuss this more. I love your point. I will apply this concept to my work. I love how you say this and that. And, just sharing those and having those people to back you up in any kind of situation is very important. Before this year, I did not like taking classes with my friends, but honestly, this semester, I think I started feeling better and better about it.
Why didn't you?
I don't know. I think I'm a very different person in personal life and academic life. So I'm a fighter. I'm a strong fighter. And anytime I want to say something in class, I go for it. And I don't care about who thinks what about me. Unlike in personal life, where I care about my friends. And if I say something offensive to a certain group of people who don't think this way, I feel very sensitive because I have also emotional connection to them, not just like a place where we come together as a class and then leave, right?
Oh,
So I didn't like saying harsh things in front of my classmates, and then when we leave, they would be like, I did not like what you said. I'd be like, well, I'm sorry, that's my opinion, but we are still friends, right? Like, I could
yeah.
not really go through that, but right now I think I'm getting better and better in understanding that it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's totally okay. I also like to ask something about your lifestyle. You've been talking about going to libraries, and I don't know, maybe you can describe some challenges or something interesting about your housing experience or dining hall.
I love
Oh,
that. Love that question. That's honestly what should be asked. What students before coming to campus should know.
oh
Okay.
yes.
Let me
We're
let me
very
start off.
interested. Come on.
Yes, I am, because that's the key thing that mattered to me before coming here. Am I gonna eat well? Am I gonna sleep, have where to sleep,
Yes, I
right?
also think that's very
So
important for the parents to know. You know, that's the first
exactly,
question. What you're gonna eat? Like,
what you're gonna eat, 100% correct. So I would say this: campus is wonderful. Con campus is beautiful, very well structured. We have a few dining halls. We have one big library. I think we have 5 floors. We also have some smaller study spaces. And we also have common rooms in every dorm, so you can go study there. I love spending time in my room too, but what we couldn't do because of COVID is I wouldn't see my friends. Right now, they're like literally right behind the wall, and I have them here. So I would rather study in public spaces, having my friends just in case I need to ask them something, or I want to go fill up my water bottle, or I need like a book, or I need support with my computer for some reason. There is IT services here. Dining hall is right across the street and all of that. So it's much more convenient to spend time in the library. And also just like putting yourself in a public space means that you're watched by someone, like someone sees you are not working, someone sees you're on TikTok, but you're not studying. So that helps me a lot. That's a wonderful opportunity to, you know, just be out in the world. And that means that you're going to do at least something, at least communicate with your friends is something that is really good. It's a good contribution to you as a personality. Speaking of challenges in my everyday life, I think I struggled a lot with showers on campus, honestly, because
why?
as you know, in Ukraine, we have this, not many houses, but like I think the majority of houses use shower as like a handle that you can take and you can direct water
Yeah, of
on your body.
course.
In America, it's not like that. It's coming from the wall, it sticks out, and water flows on you, and you do what you do. You can't really move it in any way. You have to be flexible to, reach all the parts that you need to reach with water and all of that. Also, what I hate about America is here, I was just drinking apple juice, and it says 10 flood ounces. I hope that's how you say it. And then only in parentheses it says 296 milliliters. God bless when it says this. I don't know how much water I can fit in my water bottle because it only says in ounces. I love metric system. I love liters. I love kilograms. I love grams, centimeters, and all of that. In America, it just makes me so anxious. And like temperature, Celsius, Fahrenheit, what are these? How do
Exactly.
you live your life in that? Yeah, like this is very difficult too. You know, those little things such as, I can't really show, I think I can though. It's like
Yeah.
outlet, right? So
Yeah.
you have to think about that too before coming on campus. You can't really plug in your computer unless you think about it well in advance. So just be mindful about that too. And like those little tiny things, it made my life so stressful and very, you know, like difficult at the beginning. But now I know that I have to have different adapters to SIM cards. The thing, you know, I have an iPhone, so I have to unlock my SIM card before taking it out. I have to unlock it with something.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
carry all of those things with me. I have like both of my passports, international passport and Ukrainian passport. I have to take my visa I-20 paper with me everywhere because I have
Wow.
to carry ID in my state. Just like all of those little things to live your life comfortably, you need to think about that. And obviously, coming here, I had, you know, as I said, no pillow and nothing before I went to Target and got all of these things. There are still things that I need up until today in my life that I have at home but don't have them there because they don't fit American power outlet. Just, yeah, just because of that. Hair dryer, hair products, all of that, completely different. Live your life from scratch, especially when they
Wow.
say go buy yourself command hooks, for example. I would never call them command hooks. Turns out command hook is a brand of hooks.
Oh.
I would for the rest of my life call them command hooks and not know that this is a brand. I would think that it's just like a general explanation of what it is. Clorox wipes. Clorox.
What's that?
These are just disinfectant wipes, wet wipes that you like, I don't know, piece of paper that you use to wipe your stuff with.
Genius. Genius.
This is a brand too, and you just like have to navigate your life in a completely new country where they call things in a different way. For example, in Ukraine, we know that domestos is something we clean our toilet with. And like you don't have to say what it is because people culturally know what it is. They don't have it here. How would you call it here? You would come to the store, you would need a SIM card. They will ask you how much data you need. What kind of data are you talking about? In my head, data is something I put on the graph in Excel. Those little like words, tiny little words that you have to know about your everyday life. For example, I know the word sophisticated, I know the word discombobulated because I studied for SAT, but I didn't know how to say a crosswalk up until like a few months ago. Monkey bars. Did you know what is a monkey bar? So that's the turnik that you would
Oh.
like, yeah, we know what we talked about. How do we call this? What's the word for it? So this is the worst part about moving to another country, but this is also so interesting to discover, honestly. There are so many things and word adaptations that I make with my friends when I try to explain something I don't know how to say with like and we make it work. And that's very fun, but it's also a little bit challenging because you become very conscious, you know, when you're in a new environment and people don't know you're international, but they can tell. And you're very, you know, like conscious about making a mistake when you say something, but at the same time, like, come on, we're cool because we came here and we made our way. So, like, please
Of
appreciate me
course.
the way I am.
Sure, we have our own backgrounds and experiences, and unfortunately, it's hard for Americans to understand where we came from. So I think it's important to explain even in the words we can. All right, I think we're gonna wrapping up. I have just a couple of questions for the ending. For example, with which three words would you describe a perfect candidate for con?
Dedicated. They have to be dedicated. If you started doing something, please do it until the end. Do it properly, do it thoroughly, be accurate in what you're doing.
Or at
Then
least
I would
think,
say,
right, if you drop a class, what you're doing next.
exactly, like that, be dedicated. Then I would say be open-minded. And I learned this as well as the college community grew over the past 2 years, that we have to be very open-minded and accept the fact that there are different opinions and it's okay. There are things that don't correlate with you. Don't bring those negative emotions about, not correlating things to class. Don't bring them to college community. Like, it's your personal feeling. It's not the fact that it happens is bad. It's your reaction is bad. So like keep it to yourself and be open-minded that there are different opinions. And the last one, I would say just be knowledgeable. Do your research. Like reach out for help. Know your resources. Know how you can be helpful and how someone can help you, because cooperation turns out is very important in college. You have to rely on professors, you have to rely on
Yes.
students, you have to rely on staff, but mainly on yourself. And only when you keep a good balance of all of these, you will be able to do well.
And overall, did your expectations of the college when you were only thinking about coming correlate with the reality when you came?
Not at all. I did not
No?
expect it to be so good. I did not expect it to be so good. Trust me, my first choice was Canyon College. I was
Oh
very
my
passionate about
God.
going there, right? And I know that's funny, but
Yeah.
yeah, they have a wonderful environmental studies program. They're just so cool. I love their mascot, love their colors. Purple is cool, but first of all, my like always, my favorite color has been and will be blue. Han's color is blue.
Mine
We
too.
live,
It's really, I
yeah,
can
right?
so relate to
But
that.
it's wonderful how we matched, happened to be. They went well beyond what I expected. Con is wonderful. It's sometimes difficult, to adjust to things like food in here or something like that, but still, it's a wonderful place. And I learned a lot, not only from people, but also from professors. And I love the structure of college, the way I do my life, I do my studies here is wonderful. And I love resources and help.
But what's wrong with food?
Food is fine. It's just like the fact that all people in college are not happy about their food, I think, because we love having burgers and fries all the time, but we can't. And when they don't serve burgers and fries and serve healthy food, we complain. But when they do
That's
serve burgers
interesting.
and fries, yeah, when they do serve burgers and fries, we feel like, I want healthy food, and vice versa. It's just like college students. It's us. We eat a lot and we prefer to eat a lot of bad food, oily, fried, and all of that. You're gonna do it. I know I had bar for lunch and it was wonderful. I had a burrito with chicken, guacamole, cheese, and beans, and it was wonderful.
I think
But
people who love food just decided that corn is their first choice.
well, Connor is cool, right? But for dinner, I'm gonna have salad because that's what they serve for dinner because they want me to be healthy. But when they serve healthy food, I would not. I don't want to be healthy when they serve healthy food, and vice versa. It's just like college students.
Well, at least you have
There's like
some balance.
yeah. Well, I try to, right? And it's also my unhealthy relationship with like any kind of food because I can't stop when I start. So be mindful about that too and try to be understanding and love yourself no matter what you eat. It's just like important to keep a good balance, and I think they did a great job. It's just like doesn't necessarily always correlate with my mood.
Interesting. That's me. When I learned that I got accepted, I was thinking that the thing that I will bring with me would be surely гречка, you know? I don't know
Of
why.
course, I
People
still
just
do.
people just told me, it's heavy. You can't I don't know, bring гречка on the flight just because you want to. I was like, I want гречка.
You
Yeah.
definitely have. I bring buckwheat every time I come. I have 2 packs already here, but what I would definitely give you an advice on, bring chocolate. Chocolate is nasty in America. It's the worst thing ever. You will
Wow.
never ever eat good chocolate here unless it's like Swiss or Belgian chocolate, but still it's not that much in here. So definitely bring Ukrainian chocolate with you. But also if you're a salty snack person, chips are good here. same as back at home, so nothing, no change in that.
Okay, thanks. Well, that was very interesting and a lot of new things I learned about Connecticut and about your experience at Connecticut. Is there anything else you would like to add? Maybe a tips for future students at Connecticut or anything, just anything you'd like.
I think just be mindful about what you're doing in terms of your choice, because I think in modern world we do have a lot of choice, and it's up to you if you want to do something or don't want to do something, and like rely on your choice, rely on yourself, and make sure you are responsible for what you're choosing, not only in terms of college, not only in terms of food you eat in college, not only of major, but just about everything. Be a responsible person. That's my key translation through today's conversation. And thank you so much, Sophia, for having me. It was wonderful to hear you discovering my way and possibly reflecting on it. And I hope you will enjoy your college life in Kenyan too.
Thank you. That's very true, everything you said. And thank you so much for being here today with me too. I hope we'll one day maybe talk again. Well, surely, we will surely talk again. I'm just thinking that in case of our project of Ukraine Global Scholars and learning about colleges, we'll see where it goes. And thank you very much.
Exactly. Thank you so much.